So this, folks, is our anniversary weekend, and we thought we would do an episode because we didn't go see a bus this weekend. We were hoping to go see a bus, but it just didn't work out. And we said, you know what? It's going to be a lot more fun if we just hang out at home and we celebrate each other this weekend. And as it is our anniversary, and as The Charted Life is our brainchild, I thought this episode should be about us. And that's not to say we're all that important, and it's not to say that we're all that interesting.
He's important to me.
But we're important to each other, too. See? And The Charted Life story of the journey. 2 years we've been married. 2 years we've been married. So,
we had a great wedding.
We did have a great wedding. And we're going to tell you all about it in this episode. So stay tuned, and we're going to tell you about everything, okay?
Well,
so that's going to be this episode. Episode 4 of The Great Loop 2020, the German edition.
Is that what we're calling it? The Great Loop 2020?
That's the name of the show.
That's what you named this show?
It's The Great Loop 2020. It's the preseason. As we're leading up to it.
Yeah. Of The Great Loop.
You haven't seen the last 3 episodes?
No, I just didn't realize it. I guess I did realize it, but at the same time, okay.
In this episode of The Great Loop 2020, we thought we would introduce you to who we are and why we're doing what we're doing and the idea behind the charted life and the mobile lifestyle and all the other things that we have decided to do by creating this television network and the Charted Life brand. You see, the Charted Life really is the embodiment of the love we have for each other, and it is developed as we have as a couple. Jennifer and I got married on December 16th, 2017. We got together after a year getting to know each other, and that year had a whole bunch of ups and downs, but the one thing we decided from the first day we met was that we were going to travel, and we were going to see the world, and we were going to live deliberately. The Charted Life brand was a little bit tough to understand when we first came up with it. It was not a brand that really fit into any kind of category, and it was not something we really understood completely, but we did know what our hearts told us, which was it was about the mobile lifestyle, the idea that we would sell everything and hop in a bus or a boat or a Airstream or a travel trailer or whatever and hit the road. And, well, we didn't quite get there. Our first thought was that we would get an Airstream travel trailer and a sailboat and live in the Airstream part-time, and the other part of the time we would live in the sailboat. Well, unfortunately, there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened in between there. The Airstream turned out to be stuck in a swamp and was a much bigger project than we intended. And the sailboat, well, that promptly was taken by a hurricane, and we decided that we weren't going to be living on that either. So, without much other to do, we decided, okay, let's start some television stations. Well, that was really my decision to start a TV station. Jennifer, on the other hand, she had other plans.
This is Captain Christopher German for the Charted Life Television. I am actually busy editing the latest...
And while our love may be young and our spirits willing, our bodies not so much. And Jennifer, unfortunately, had to have 3 different shoulder surgeries, but to her credit, laughed through all 3 of them, and is now feeling a heck of a lot better, if not, maybe a little bit wiser for the wear. And like the song says, we are ready to hit the road at every opportunity, and have been doing so now as we launch The Great Loop 2020, a show that's all about traveling the sea and seeing the world.
So that is a better view, even if we don't use that tripod. It's still, oh look, there's Leroy. Hey Leroy. So there'll still be better sound this way. Because I think the other way we were having. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking.
We're talking.
Oh.
Because we're headed to the battleship in Wilmington. And
last, I don't know, year or so, we have been toying with the idea of liquidating everything we own. And to that aim, we have done a number of different things. But in the last couple of months, last couple of weeks, we've taken on a new effort to get our heads in the right spot to be able to transition, which is to say transition from a sticks and bricks life into a more of a mobile lifestyle. And to do that, we both have a whole bunch of life that we've dragged with us into this new marriage, and we've had to digest that new life. And it's not just, stick all your stuff in storage. You really have to be more deliberate about what you're carrying with you into the next chapter of your life, your second life, if you're going to make the second life your mobile life. Is that well said?
No.
Well, what do you think?
I know that you really hold dearly the term second life. And I'm not so sure that I agree with second life. I am more of the mindset that life is continually growing and evolving. And because I am growing and evolving, each one of us has the opportunity to not carry with us all of our old baggage. And so it doesn't have to be a second life. It can just be a new evolution of the same life. But that being said, yes, I do think that we've had to kind of digest all of those things. 3 years ago, we decided we wanted to be more mobile, and we haven't yet done it. And there have been many reasons. Some of it financial, some of it has been medical issues for me. Some of it has been emotionally. We just weren't quite prepared for it.
There's always another reason that you can find. It's getting yourself emotionally ready to do it. That is the true reason why it needs to, it happens or it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I think that we just weren't, I was coming out of a difficult time in my life. A marriage had ended. My children and I were estranged, and there was a lot of emotional turmoil going on. And I was working through that diligently. Your mom was diagnosed with cancer and she died. And moving through all of her things, you were not able to just dispose of it. And I didn't think you should. When anybody in my world has ever died, I had, I said, oh my gosh, we can't get rid of anything. And I have 14 boxes of their items that tell me, oh my gosh, I have to hold on to it because it means everything. It's part of them. It still is them. And then a year after they're gone, I go through the 14 boxes and I think, what is this? Why did I keep this?
We had a major catharsis happen this week as far as I'm concerned. And that is getting rid of my family silverware. That stuff I've been toting that stuff around with me for my entire 43 years on this planet. That stuff has been with me. I ate on it as a child, and I'm not going to have kids, so I came to the realization that, why am I carrying this stuff around with me? And then once I made the decision that I don't necessarily care whether I'm carrying it with me, it's getting okay with, what would my mother say if I knew I was getting rid of this thing? And so it's going through all those different emotional arguments with myself. And this week I finally came to the realization that it's like, you know what? I don't need it. I'm not going to give it to anybody else. Push it on, and truthfully, then it got, you learn even more because nobody wants the damn silverware. But then we multiply that times 100 times with every item, all the stuff we have in storage, everything in the house, and every single thing becomes a discussion in one's mind about, can I really let this thing go? And it's not just simple enough to say, sell everything and hop in a bus and go.
And I don't think it's healthy to just sell everything and go. I think maybe for some, there are very few people, but I think there are some people that would say, I sold everything and I got on the road and I've never been happier. And you know what? Good for them. Oh my gosh. Good for them. We're not those people. And I think we might be a lot more like most people, is that you have to work through it. You have to be prepared. You have to emotionally let go of those items that you were selling. And it doesn't mean the sofa that you bought from IKEA.
That pot holder that's got the burn holes in it that doesn't help you keep your hands protected anymore, but your great-grandmother had it and you have that in your house. And it's like, Why do I have this thing? It's not.
You don't even use it.
You don't even use it.
You
Yeah.
can't even use it because it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But oh my God, you can't get rid of it.
Can't get rid of it. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
you can't
gosh.
get rid of it.
But you know what? When you are able to start moving those things, like giving them to someone who either can use them if they're still valuable, or selling them, or just deciding that they don't need to be as part of your world any longer. I said, okay, take it from me now because I'm ready to get rid of it. But when it's gone, I feel free.
Liberated. That's exactly where I think a lot of people are at when it comes to making the choice to live the mobile lifestyle. Do I want to live in the bus? Do I want to live in the boat? Do I want to hop in the van and go? Do I want to live in the RV? You have to make these decisions about these items in your life.
Oh, but you know what? Let me also clarify. We're not getting rid of everything.
Right. We kept the soup spoons. Because a
we
good
love the
soup
soup
spoon,
spoon.
oh my God, and we didn't have enough soup spoons, so we kept the soup spoons out of
We
it.
did
So I
keep
did
the
keep
soup
some of the stuff,
Yeah.
but I didn't keep it all.
the stuff, and
because
having-
all of this stuff around you, holding you down, holding you back, really becomes a prison eventually. And I think that was something I learned from my mother. Keeps this stuff. Yeah, keep the stuff. Keep the stuff. And when you realize you don't need that castle of stuff, you don't need all that stuff in the attic weighing you down. That's when you can truly get to the essence of life and really start to appreciate what you have and what you are, because you're not my stuff.
Well, and I think the other part of letting go of some of your things can be liberating even if you're never going to be on the road. You don't realize that your house smells like dog or cat or something, and then you spray the Febreze.
No fox smells his own death.
Become blind. Well, I think we become blind to all of our belongings, and that we don't realize how much we have stored in every little nook and cranny.
And we're not getting rid of everything. We're always
the
going
other
to
part.
maintain a storage unit.
Yeah, I mean a storage unit. I mean, and if you have family that you can say, hey, can you put these items in your attic, and they have the space and they're willing to do it, I say that's wonderful. A lot of them not get rid of my grandmother's piano. I'm not going to do it. I learned how to.
About my father's paintings.
Your dad.
I have somewhere between 30 and 40 works of art that my father painted.
It feels like more.
It feels it's a lot. I can't appreciate 40 paintings.
We don't have the wall space for paintings.
They're not.
But emotionally, letting someone else have them is difficult for us.
So, right. This is one of my major yokes of growth that I have to get past is what do I do with all of these paintings? Trying to figure out. And you know, it's like they could be valuable someday, but they're not valuable right now. So you can't have an entire attic full of might be collectible someday or might be valuable someday. Well, so that is the whole discussion that we've been having is what are we doing with our stuff? And you know, it's something I think that's glossed over a lot of times with people that, you know, I bought an Airstream and we're gonna go hit the road.
We're living in it full time, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why some people never get to do it. It's one of the reasons why I think we have been so delayed in being able to do what we're trying to do. But we've finally turned the corner, I think, and we're making the hard decisions and we're making the hard choices, and we're buying the bus and we're gonna go. Hopefully to make enough money so we can buy a big fat boat and live on a big fat boat after that.